What up, though? Jumping straight off into it, you know what I'm saying? I put a question out there in the cyberverse, which goes as such. I said, why aren't more guitarists obsessed with creating their own original sound and tone as opposed to being obsessed with trying to find a sound and tone that was created by a legendary artist, you know what I mean, that they made popular, right? And I got so many responses, it was crazy. It was like I damn near couldn't answer all of the replies, but I made sure to. And even with like this topic, I don't want everybody to agree with me because this is something that you know I learned from. It's a great conversation, and I had a lot more people defending the fact, or better yet, the usage of already created popular tones and sounds, right? You got cats like Hendrix who made that particular strat tone that he had a popular thing, you know what I'm saying? And he had a lot of different tones and what have you and sounds, from his clean tones to his distorted tones to his fuzz tones to his reverb chorusy type of things going on. You know what I mean? Jimmy Page, Eric Clapton, Dave Gilmore, and so on and so forth. B.B. King, Albert King, you know, and it was more people, questioning me saying, well, what's wrong with that? Why can't we just play what we want to play? My retort was that, and this is me speaking, my retort was, what difference are you making in the world of music and tone and sound and so forth if you're taking what somebody else already did and made popular and now you're utilizing it? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you took your own style or better yet sound and tone and you catapulted that out there into the guitar verse just as though the aforementioned cats did with their own sound and tone and everything else, then, like, what's wrong with that? And I'm coming from the angle of, like, for me, I'm a glutton for originality and creativity. You know what I mean? One notable user, one notable person who was on the thread said, so you mean to tell me that when you came up, you just picked up a guitar and you just jumped off into doing your own thing and not playing like the person or persons that inspired you to play? And I said, you fucking right. I came up and did my own thing. You know what I'm saying? And of course I was my heaviest influence was Hendrix. Love Hendrix, man. Love Jimmy Page. All of the cats from the 60s and so forth and the 70s and everything. But I always said to people and made note of it that I don't want to sound like them. I don't want to play like them. I would love to have their skill level, but I don't want to sound like them, and I don't want to play like them because then I'm just a carbon copy. And that's definitely not what I want to do with my creativeness, is to be a carbon copy of anybody, a satellite of anybody, right? So I'm always striving to be myself unadulterated. You know what I mean? Relentlessly myself. And I also utilize myself for inspiration, you know, so that I don't become predictable. I don't want to have a sound whereas as soon as you hear the first note, you know it's me. And this is me, right? I kind of view predictability as somewhat of a bore. You know what I mean? Because you had your mind blown once by this person and what they did. Then you hear it again, and it sounds just like the last time you played. And then you do something else and it sounds like the last time you played, and the last time. And it just keeps on going on and on and on. Everything sounds the same, and then you lose uh, the shock factor or the excite factor of hearing, you know, you, a person play. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always striving to not lock myself in a box, in my box, or in my cage. You know what I mean? I've been there a number of times, and for me, I always I reach out into the furthest infinite spaces of the creative verse, if you will, and I'm always trying to do something new and different because what tends to happen with myself is that I'll get bored with what I'm doing. And then I like kind of get trapped in doing what I know how to do good. And then I'll just continue to do that. Hence the predictability component. You know what I mean? So I make sure to not fall into that comfortable space of my own creative cell, right? I don't want my cell closed. I want it open at all times so that I can get out there and always, you know, really get it in and bring fresh new elements to what I got going on. You know what I mean? I also remember a response, one that was in agreement of what I was saying. And you could tell he was an older cat. He said, back in my day, we only had dirty and clean. We didn't have all of the choices that we do nowadays to expand on your clean sound or your dirty sound. And so you were forced to sound different. And you created your own tone and sound because you were limited, so you had to work with what you had. Today, with the vast infinite verse of sound, you know, that's out here, it's like, why is everybody still wanting to just sound like Hendrix or Page or Clapton, or, you know, you take your pick of the old guitar gods, right? It's like you can create something brand new, brand new sound, brand new tone, with all of the stuff that's available. I mean, it's crazy what we have nowadays as opposed to yesteryear, what they only have. They went from a amp with a volume button only. And the only way to get distortion is if the louder you turned it up, the more gain and distortion you would get on your sound. Now, then it moved up from clean to distortion. Now we got everything: brown, crunch, clean, acoustic, fuzz, chorus, echo, reverb, modulation, is and so forth and so on. Square sounds, you know what I mean? The sound library is infinite and vast, and it's way more than enough to what you need in order to, make things happen for yourself so that you can create your own tone slash sound, right? And make that famous the same way B.B. King and Albert King did their sound and tone. Same way Page and Hendrix did their sound and tone. Same way Pete Townshend and all of these cats made their sounds and tones. You know what I mean? Of course, when you first start fucking around, you play like and you want to sound like the person that inspired you to play, because every musician, and we're staying in the guitar lane here, has been influenced by somebody. And started off that way, and then I would tend to think that you would use that inspiration as a springboard to sound like you and develop you and to create you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, and see, with this here, I'm gonna leave you with this question. Can you name for me, and I want you to put them down here in the comment section. Name for me three, 1, 2, 3 guitarists that has a fresh, new, original sound and tone, all right, that is not reminiscent of anything from the 50s, 60s, or 70s, from none of the guitar gods, all right? 3 guitarists, just 3. I'm trying to learn from you guys as well, and I just want to see where y'all at with it, in terms of this sound and tone originality piece. All right? So 3 guitarists that do not have any relatability, distinctability, or that's reminiscent of anything or anybody from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Put it right down there for me, please. I respond and I subscribe back and all that too, you know what I mean? Like, subscribe, comment down below.